Hi everyone, Chris here from IELTS Advantage with another success story from our VIP course. Asiz recently got the scores that he needed, and he is going to share his story with you guys so that you can learn how to overcome your own IELTS problems. So, Asiz, I'm probably messing up the pronunciation of your name again.
That's fine.
Can you introduce yourself to everybody?
Your pronouncing is correct. It's Asiz only. So my name is Asiz, and I'm a software developer. I'm working in one of the software tech company, Nutanix. So I'm based out of India, and I started my IELTS journey some 3 to 4 years, months back, around I think in September or October I started. Not September, October. I think it was February. Yeah. So I started my journey on February, and I gave my test on first. I gave it in on October. I didn't got the score. Then again, there is a month difference. So again, I gave it on December. So on December, finally, I got my required score. The only problem of from my first score was that I was not getting 7 band. It was 6.5,
Mhm,
and then on the second one I got 7 band on writing.
mhm.
So the overall score which I got was in writing 7, in reading it was 7.5, in speaking it was 8, and in listening it was 8.5.
Excellent.
So yeah,
Congratulations.
so thank you. So the journey, trust me, when I started learning through my own, because I was already good with, we usually talk in company, we are good in English because from the very start of my education, we were taught in English, so English was there as a second language. But again, when I started preparing for an examination, I realized that my grammar is very weak,
Mhm.
and grammar is huge. Like I don't know from where to start and where to end, right? So that's where I was a little nervous. Like I don't want to overburden myself by learning a lot of things, and at the same point I didn't want it to learn so limited that it is not coming inside in a scope of IELTS. Then how do you define that?
Mhm.
Even if you see in the as you told, right, that there are 4 sections in writing, and one of them is grammar, but it doesn't tells you what exactly in grammar are they actually testing you on. So then I was researching in YouTube. I saw one of your video, and you were explaining it very nicely. You had those essays, structures being like you were telling those essay structures. And I want to tell you, I even wanted to started on reading itself. In reading, I was scoring before was 6. I mean, you gave those mock tests, right?
Yep.
So there was one of uh, um, some link was there, some site one of my friend told, and he referred that, and he gave me the site, and I did the same, and he's like, I am able to score 7 above, like 7.5, and I was struggling in 6. So reading was also messed up, my writing was also messed up. Speaking, I know I'll cover, it's okay, I'll see if I didn't bother too much about speaking, and listening also somewhere 8, 7.5, 7.5, 7, then 8. So there was no consistency in listening also. I
Mhm.
started, so I reached up to you guys, and first impression was, oh my God, it's very expensive.
Yep, it is.
I was like, okay. Then I spoke to one of your management person, and he told me that he can give me some good discounts and all. So finally, I spoke to my father, and my father was like, "Do you trust them?" I was like, "Yeah, the material is all fine." So my father was like, "Just go for it. If you trust them, if your gut feeling is saying that you will do it, just go ahead." So I got some essay corrections. I started with reading. You guys always tell me that always start with writing, but I started with reading. And in the middle, you guys were like, no, 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 start with writing. And I was like, I'm already in the middle of it. So let me just complete that. And then the second thing I'll pick up is writing, which was a huge mistake for anyone. Start with reading first, writing first, because along the time, there is so much happening. Your grammar will also increase. If you'll be doing reading, if you'll be doing listening, so somewhere around the corner you'll be confident, because you are, you have already gained the scores consistently what you were aiming for in writing. And then you have a bandwidth also, like, if you're not able to get the scores, then you can take more corrections, and then again you can stretch that. Or but in the end, if you have booked the exams and then you are struggling with getting the scores, I mess it up. So, I mean, you guys also tell that, don't book the exam until you get the
Yeah.
score in a length, in a period of time consistently. But I booked it because I'm a kind of a guy who go on deadline. So whenever there is a deadline, I'll try to push. But yeah, grammar was a great help, and I took that. And you all explained me all those things in a very like in a way that this is the small package that you have to understand. Don't go outside, just stay there.
Yeah.
And around the time now you understand, it's not even about correct English, it's about putting your thoughts so logically that it is easy for the reader to read and understand what you're trying to say. Each and every what do you say idea, it needs to be explained so thoroughly that after completing, if a reader reads it, after reading it all, he knows, okay, whatever the ideas were told were enough for me to understand the context of what this person was trying to tell me.
Yeah, I mean,
That
it's
I
like
realized.
you're a software developer, and I'm not. I'm a complete idiot when it comes to coding and
Software.
anything like that. But if you were to give me incomplete code or very very complex code, and just say here you go, it's of no use to me. But as a business owner, and you're making a software package for me, I want everything fully done, fully explained, easy to understand. And I think a lot of software developers and coders, especially that I work with, get how we teach it, because we don't say you need to improve everything. We're like,
Mm,
okay, what are the bugs in your system? And let's just focus on that. And then also, I think a lot of software developers get our approach to help the reader, because I think that's how you learn how to code effectively. It's like, well, think about the end user.
right.
Is your code helping the end user? Because if it's not, it doesn't matter how impressive the code is.
It
It's
doesn't
how
matter.
impressive the product is. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically you're creating a meaning out of a software
yeah,
and it is benefiting you. So it's the same process. It doesn't mean like how neat your code is, how beautiful it is looking. No, no, no. End
yeah,
of the day, it should meet the requirements.
yeah,
And that's nice you related them. I never realized that, but I mean, from English to coding, you're mixing them and
yeah.
trying to make sense out of it. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
So
it's just easier to teach someone when you give them something they understand.
some
So
reference, yeah.
if you were a doctor, I'd be talking about diagnosing problems in the body and stuff like that. But engineers and coders and software developers, um, they often struggle at the beginning, but once you explain to them, you know, you're 90% there. You just need to understand what the problems are, identify those and fix those problems. Then coders just understand that immediately. Oh, debugging, right? Oh yeah, yeah, that. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's there in their what do you say, personality, like that, because
exactly,
that is one
exactly.
of the aspect. Even when in an interview, you try to test them, like how good they are analytically.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how, I mean, it started, and it went nice. I mean, I used to take notes of my grammar, so I've created like 6 to 10 templates, and I pasted right above there. So in the morning, I'll just look, I'll revise my grammar. On the left side, again, there were some notes which you used to give me in my essay corrections. You would tell me that, Ashish, you did this wrong. This is not how it is done. In the introductory sentence, it needs to be crisp. You can't just add so many ideas in the introductory sentence.
Hmm.
So those were the things which were I doing mistakes. So I used to keep writing it down and post and paste it in my wall. So whenever I used to, go here and there, I just keep reading them and revising them, and that started helping me come naturally to me. I don't, like, after some time, I don't have to read it again. I know. right?
Yeah, you're not the first student, successful student that has said that they put things up on their wall.
Mm.
Is that I think it's good to get things out of your head and put them on paper.
Yeah,
This is especially with online learning where everything's in video. I think taking the main things and putting them on paper in your own writing
yeah.
really helps, I think. So that's a
Uh,
really good piece of
I
advice.
Yeah, and yeah, I am a kind of a guy who always writes. So
Me
while
too. Yeah.
preparing for IELTS, I have some two or three registers, notebooks
Yeah.
filled just with IELTS things.
Me
So
too.
yes, reading strategy, writing strategy. First, make some things out. However, I don't have to look again and again to it. I mean, once you
Mhm.
write it, just read it two or just revise it twice or thrice. You're
Uh-huh.
done.
Yeah, I think
But
that's a big difference between online learning and learning in the classroom is if I'm teaching in a real classroom, students are often making notes, but I think you should do that when you're learning online as well. And because it will help you put things into your own way of thinking, but also it helps you just revise it very quickly. You don't have to go and look through 20 videos. You can just
yeah,
look at your own notes and kind of build your own system, but based on our
yeah,
core
teachings.
core teaching and philosophy of teaching. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, but it is also easy, right? Like you can pause the video, you can make the note, and you
Uh-huh.
can go back and again, if you have missed out in general classroom, you don't get to do that. You're
Yeah.
just writing it down there and there. So online is much more helpful if you rather than what I feel personally than going on in a classroom and then studying. Though I mean, your system is so interactive in a way that if you have any issues, you can just pause and can get back on a VIP support. You can just type it out your questions. I think within 3 hours or 4 hours, people will respond. But while you're writing only, you'll realize, oh, answer to this is this.
Yeah. I
That's
wish every
there.
student was like you. Not every
and
student is like that, but I wish every student was like that. Yeah.
and then I have to discard the email. I was like, damn. And then I'll just write it down somewhere and then I'll continue. So it
Yeah,
was like that.
we've actually tested because we've got quite a big support team. So we have tested getting back to people instantly or waiting a little while. And we find that waiting a little while improved things for the student more because the student, by the time when we instantly answered the questions, it didn't really help the student. But when we wait a few hours, often the student will email back and say, "Oh, I figured this out myself," or "I thought about
Yeah.
it myself and I did it." So yeah, but that's
And then you're constantly thinking also for 3 hours or 4 hours straight.
yeah.
That's what you're trying to say, right? That's the thing. That's the magic. And
Well,
then when you, mm,
the goal really is that I don't teach you, I create the conditions where you can learn yourself. There's a difference between like spoon feeding you, telling you exactly what to do, or creating the conditions where you can learn where you can learn yourself. The most successful students that we work with are actually very independent. And sometimes I'll do these success stories and I've never even heard of the person. And I'm like, how did you get such a high score? And they're like, oh, your courses, we just went through your course and everything was good. And often the students that really struggle are the dependent students that want everything done for them. I and I don't blame them because often they come from cultures where that's the style of teaching. The teacher spoon feeds you. But if you're a coder, I think a lot of developers are exposed to Western ideas on how to learn things, and a lot of the developers I work with use Google and GitHub, and they just how do I fix this, and fix it themselves
yeah,
rather
Stack
than
Overflow is our bread and butter.
yeah. I was talking to some developers and I was like, how do you fix like how do you do this? It's so, and they're like, Google. We just
Yeah,
you know.
Google. Yeah, yeah. And in Google also, there is only one site which I mean, most of our colleagues also, we refer Stack Overflow excessively
Yeah,
because it is filled with developers posting questions and the support is amazing.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's a lot, that there's a lot to learn from that, I think, and it's difficult to tell a student that because they think that we're being lazy and we're not teaching them and we're not giving them value for money. But
Yeah,
sometimes the more you help a student, the worse they're going to get.
yeah,
Whereas if you back off a little bit and let them figure things out for themselves a little bit, they get better. But I think we have a good balance where we say,
yeah.
learn this stuff, but we're here for you if you need it, and we'll
Mm,
give you all the things you need. But
mm,
at the end of the day, you need to sit in a room on test day and do it yourself. You won't have
yeah,
me sitting with you, so
yeah. True. Yeah, at a point in my journey, I really lost hope on you guys because I was not getting the scores in my writing.
yeah.
It was so frustrating, Chris. You'll not imagine. I was like, "No, man, there's some problem." Maybe at that point of time, I was like, you know what, their teaching method is not correct because they are testing me on other things while whatever they're teaching is few other things in grammar with respect to grammar majorly, and sometimes the ideas. And it's like, how do you what is the limit of explaining an idea? I mean, just then explanation and then those things. I don't know. Maybe at that point of time, I lost hope. So I spoke to my father. So we used to after our dinner, we used to go for a big walk, and then I'll tell him. So it's in
Nice,
our daily routine.
nice,
So I was
nice.
just walking with him after dinner, and I was like, "So how's your things going?" And my father asked, and I was like, "It's going good. I'm able to, meet. I mean, getting all the bands which I need consistently, and it's all good. But it's just writing is really messed up." He's like, "Whoa, what happened?" I was like, "I've just exhausted all my corrections, and it's very expensive. And then, I mean, I have went through all the videos, but I'm not able to figure out. I'm not getting those bands." And then my father just told me one thing before getting. Remember, you told me that you trust them. Like, yeah, just trust your guru. Forget about anything and get back on it. That changed it, and I was like, okay, okay, okay. Let me just get back and start. So I again took few of the corrections more, and then I again started on the same things. I knew that okay, I have some 6 to 7 corrections, and I need to be very focused on this, and I need to prepare before giving giving a submission.
Mhm.
So around the time when I was getting considered, I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot then.
Well, say thank you to your father from me for helping you trust me. And but what you're referring to is something we call the learning plateau. So whenever you're first learning something, you improve at a very high rate. You're just learning new things, new things, new things, and then you get to a plateau, and you don't really see much improvement, and that is a really dangerous area to be in because a lot of people give up,
Yeah,
whereas you need to push through that plateau and then you see more improvement later on. But I totally understand because a lot of people do invest a lot of money in our course, and they're like, well, why am I not getting better, and it's like, well, you just don't see it. You're too close to it. You are
mm,
seeing improvement, but you want,
mm.
you're too close to your work and you want things to happen quicker than. But if you want to have a baby, it takes 9 months. You can't.
True.
It's
You have to. So that's
you
what
have.
that's when you explain whole things. First, you explain how to study, and then you show the exact first material, like what is it. So if you see your videos, it's very lengthy, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, I get that.
Just tell
Get
me
on to
the
next
main thing.
topic.
Yeah.
so so yeah, those things are there, but it's nice. That's why I told you in the very beginning, because you're a very patientful person. You'll be like, no, first understand the whole thing from the very basic. You create your base and then start working on that.
Yeah, I mean, we could create a course that just is the basics, and just, instead of a 40-minute video, a 4-minute video, people would be very happy at the time, but
Mm,
then we would get lots of emails saying I failed my test. So I would prefer to get, I don't think that you did this, but a lot of students do email us and say, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with that. It's like, our concern is you will be happy when you get your results. not that you're very happy with everything during your preparation, because it's just impossible to give people what they want and give people what they need at the same time, because they're often two different things. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've worked with software clients like me. Like
Yeah.
I get people to design, so, and I'm very, oh, why did you not just do it today? You know, and you're like,
Mm.
well, it takes 6 weeks, and we have to do this, we have to do that. You know, so it's there's always a gap in understand. Like, you understand coding, I understand IELTS, and there's always a gap between what one person understands and the other. So we try to do our best, but your father, it did give you the breakthrough that you needed, which is just like, trust him, because he knows what
Mm.
he's doing. And you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you would
It's
love your software developer clients to trust you a little bit more sometimes when whenever you're taking longer than they want, you know.
yeah, that's that.
But if your father is watching this video, thank you very much, and you're a great father, because your son will have a great future now, because he's able to, you know, you've got the freedom to move to any country in the world now. Yeah.
Yeah,
So thank you so much, Aziz. I really appreciate your advice. I think that there are a lot of great things for people to learn from that, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. And if you need any advice, or you know, anything at all, just feel free to get in touch with us. All right.
definitely. Yeah, sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it
so
was
much.
lovely speaking to you, Chris. You're a nice guy. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time.
so much. Bye-bye. Hey, Chris here again. Hopefully you enjoyed that success story video. That student was part of our IELTS VIP course. And on that course, we show students exactly where they're going wrong and exactly what to do to get the score that they need. And we give them all the help and support that they need in order to get a 7, 8, or even 9 in their IELTS test. Now, we only work with a really small number of students. Because of the level of help and feedback and support that we give students, we can only work with a very small number of them. But we also have more success stories than any other online or offline course in the world, which has created a huge amount of demand for our course. So we're the only course in the world, I believe, that has a very long waiting list. If you want to join that waiting list, all you have to do is just click here and you'll be able to add your name, add your email address, and then when one of our students becomes successful and leaves the course, the next position can be for you. Hopefully see you in there. Bye-bye.